Listen and practice.
My weekends are busy and exciting. My weekdays at home are busy too. I have 2 sons, Dylan, 7, and Dakota, 5. Every morning I get up 1 hour before them at 6, and I go to the gym. I come home and I make breakfast. Then I take them to school. On Mondays I always go shopping. I buy all the food for the week. I often cook dinner in the evenings, but not every day because I don't like cooking. Fortunately, my husband Don loves cooking. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I visit my father. He lives on the next block. Every afternoon, I pick up the kids from school. In the evenings, Don and I usually relax, but sometimes we visit friends. We never go out on Friday evenings because I start work so early on Saturdays.
Listen and practice.
Books. Many people made this book. Do you know how we make books? An author writes the words, and an editor checks the words. Other people draw pictures or take photos for the book. Designers use a computer to put the words, photos, and pictures into pages. In factories, printing machines print the pages on paper. They print 16 pages on one big piece of paper. Then other machines cut the paper into pages. People used machines to fix the pages of this book together. Sometimes people sew the pages together. Then they fix them to the cover with glue.
Listen and practice.
Clothes. We make clothes from lots of different materials, like wool and cotton. To make jeans, people use cotton fabric. They cut the fabric into different shapes for pieces of the jeans, like the legs and pockets. They use a sewing machine to sew these pieces together. Then they sew buttons and a zipper on the front of the jeans. People use wool to make clothes like hats or sweaters. At home, some people use wool and knitting needles to knit clothes. They knit different pieces of the clothes, like the arms, the front, and the back. Then they sew the pieces together. In factories, people use knitting machines to knit clothes.
Listen and practice.
Space colony. Where could humans go if we had to leave Earth? Our solar system is huge. We don't know that much about it. There's no other place besides Earth that can naturally sustain human life. Living things on Earth need air, water, food, shelter, light, and nutrients to survive. We also need other conditions, like appropriate temperatures. The Earth is surrounded by a layer of gases called the atmosphere. It's essential to life on Earth. It provides many things we need to live. One example is the air we breathe. There is another place in our solar system where some of these things exist. It's a moon of the planet Jupiter called Europa. Its conditions could be suitable for humans. Europa's atmosphere is made up of mostly oxygen. Scientists also believe Europa's surface has water. Of course, it's not perfect. The highest temperature on Europa is -160 degrees Celsius. No human can survive that. There are other problems too, but a space colony may allow us to survive there. Scientists are studying Europa. They want to find out if there's life there. They want to learn if humans could survive there.
Listen and practice.
Plastic products. We make a lot of products from plastic, like bottles and toys. To make a plastic product, machines put hot plastic in a mold. Then the plastic is the same shape as the mold. To make some products, like bottles, machines also blow air into the molds. To make a new plastic product, like a toy, people draw it and then make a model of it. In a factory, people use the model to make a mold for each part of the toy. Machines put hot plastic in the molds to make plastic parts. People or machines fix the parts together, and they paint the toys. Then the toys go to stores.
Listen and practice.
Making products by hand. About 200 years ago, there weren't many factories or machines, and people made many products by hand. Today, some people still make products by hand. They use tools to make products like chairs, clocks, jewelry, and musical instruments. It takes years to learn how to make these things. People make guitars from wood. They cut thin pieces of wood to make the front and back of the guitar. To make the sides, they put long, thin pieces of wood in water. Then they use hot tools to make the wood the right shape for the sides. They fix these pieces together with glue. Later, they make the neck of the guitar and they put the strings on it.
Listen and practice.
One of the first things I noticed in Valencia is that people eat out a lot. They spend a lot of time in cafes. You find people having breakfast or tea, not just lunch and dinner. People who work go out to have coffee. They don't have it in their office. Another thing I notice, I find that the women here talk very fast and very loudly, much more than the men. Women dress very well, especially older women, and they always look immaculate. Finally, there's a myth that the Spanish don't work hard, but I don't think it's true. It's just that they work different hours. People have a long lunch break, but they leave work very late.
Listen and practice.
My first impression of Alexander was that he was much older than me. In fact, he was 32, but I thought he was older. But when we started talking, I really liked him. He was extroverted and funny, and he had a very good sense of humor. He works for a TV station, and he told me a lot of good stories about his work. He was also interested in the same things as me, art and music, and we talked a lot about that. Physically, he wasn't really my type. It's hard to say why. He was tall and dark and very good-looking, and he had a nice smile. But there just wasn't any chemistry between us.
Listen and practice.
When I first saw Oliver, I thought he looked warm and friendly, and more attractive than Alexander. He was tall, with short blonde hair, and he had amazing blue eyes, kind of like the actor Ryan Gosling. He was kind of shy and quiet at first, but when we started talking, he relaxed, and we found we had a lot of things in common. We both liked books and movies. He was generous, too. He wanted to pay for everything. I really enjoyed the evening. When it was time to go, he asked for my phone number and said he wanted to meet again. We walked out of the restaurant and went to look for a taxi. And then something happened, and I knew that it was impossible for me to go out with him. He said, "Finally," and took out a pack of cigarettes.
Listen and practice.
When I first saw Oliver, I thought he looked warm and friendly and more attractive than Alexander. He was tall with short blonde hair, and he had amazing blue eyes, kind of like the actor Ryan Gosling. He was kind of shy and quiet at first, but when we started talking, he relaxed, and we found we had a lot of things in common. We both like books and movies. He was generous, too. He wanted to pay for everything. I really enjoyed the evening. When it was time to go, he asked for my phone number and said he wanted to meet again. We walked out of the restaurant and went to look for a taxi. And then something happened, and I knew that it was impossible for me to go out with him. He said, "Finally," and took out a pack of cigarettes.